Most of us don't start something with the intention to fail at it or ruin it. However, many of us go into homeschooling with certain expectations. We think things are going to be a certain way. And then once we really get into it and get in the weeds of it, our expectations have gone unmet. And now it's not working. There's good news and bad news, and I say them both with love. The bad news is that it's probably your fault. The good news is that it's probably your fault, which means that you can fix it because it's within your control. It's within the boundary of things that you can actually control. So today I'm going to share with you 5 ways that I think many of us can ruin our homeschools and ruin our homeschooling experience, sometimes before we've hardly even gotten underway. Homeschooling is not without its challenges. There are lots of things that can make homeschooling harder or more difficult or just a difficult season. I'm certainly not denying any of that. But I do think that there are many ways that we can combat those things. And I also think that there's many things that we're almost like doing to ourselves that we are making it harder than it needs to be. If you've been homeschooling for a while and you're feeling a little faint of heart, listen up because this video is for you. Or if you are thinking about homeschooling, definitely listen up because then you can avoid some of these pitfalls. Now, if you're like, why should I listen to you, lady? I get it, all right? I don't advise just listening to anybody online. And you don't have to listen to me. But what I will tell you is that I'm a mom of 8 children. I've been homeschooling for over 12 years. My oldest is 17 and my youngest is 4. So I've been at this for a while. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I've learned from those mistakes. And I love nothing more than sharing what I've learned from those mistakes with other homeschooling moms or prospective homeschooling moms because, well, I'm just wildly passionate about helping moms, mothers, homemakers find their passion and purpose and joy in this journey of being a mom, raising kids, homeschooling them. It's hard, but it's awesome. And I just love sharing what I've learned in hopes that it will help you too. The first way is by listening to the lies that either you're telling yourself or that other people are putting out there. Namely, ones like, you don't know enough to homeschool your kids. You don't have what it takes to homeschool your kids. I'm not good at this. I'm not a good teacher. Everybody else is better at this than me. Everybody's homeschool looks so perfect and mine is terrible. My kids are gonna resent me for this when they grow up. These are lies that we are telling ourselves or that we are allowing other people's voices to get into our own heads about these things. We have to stop doing that. You have been your child's first teacher since the day that they were born. You have everything it takes. You have everything that you need to be successful with home education. It's so much more about guiding your children. And there is no one, my friend, not anyone, not one single person on this earth who loves and cares more about the outcome for your children than you do. The second way that we are almost self-sabotaging is by not staying in our lane, okay? We live in a world right now that is just shiny object, shiny object. Ooh, look at that. It's just everything is meant to distract us, make us look over there, capture our attention. Every single platform that we're on is fighting for your attention. So you have to be able to recognize that, in particular when it comes to what you are allowing to be inspiration and encouragement to you, and what you're allowing to make you feel bad about yourself or like you're not good enough or less than, okay? There are many amazing mothers and homeschool mothers who are sharing information online. They want to share resources. They want to share encouragement. Sometimes we can take that and really internalize it and not recognize that these people are putting their Sunday hats on. You know what I'm saying? Like they're showing up and sharing, as the saying goes, their highlight reels, right? They're sharing the good stuff. They're not likely sharing the nitty-gritty, hard, rough stuff. And if they are, even then, they're probably sugarcoating it a little bit, right? Because we're not supposed to just bear all of our garbage and all that stuff online. That's not meant for mass consumption. So we have to be able to consume these social media accounts and stuff however you'd like. I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't be on social media ever, but what I will say is that you should make sure that you're staying in your lane and not getting distracted by what other people are doing and how they're doing it. You need to focus on what you know is right for your kids and for your family and what's working and stick with that. Number 3 is not getting help when you need it. sometimes as homeschooling moms, we can ruin our homeschools by thinking that it's somehow like not approved by who? Like who's the person we're looking for approval from? Like there is no overarching like homeschooling ruler who's going to come down and be like, you did that wrong. You're out of the homeschooling club. It doesn't work like that. So when we need help, when we need tutors, when we need support, when we need to send our kids for some more help in a certain subject or area, when we need to bring someone in, when we need to change up curriculums or do something like that and get help, it's okay. And we should do that. That's part of what makes us good homeschooling moms, is that we are able to recognize where our kids need more, where they need help, where limitations are for us, for them, and be flexible and help them, right? Our job is to guide them and show them that, hey, you can get help when you need it, right? Like we want them to know that. We want them to know that they're not on an island doing this alone or trying to figure this out alone. And in any situation in life, if they need help, they can get it. That brings me very nicely to today's video sponsor, Night Zookeeper. Now, if your child is struggling in language arts, grammar, reading, all of that, we have loved Night Zookeeper for the last couple of years now. It's an amazing language arts program that is geared towards children ages like 6 to 12. And while we're at this point, like halfway through the school year, maybe you're thinking like, our language arts isn't working, I can't start something new. Well, first of all, you can if you want to. And also adding in something like this, you can even use Night Zookeeper as like a supplement to what you're already doing. It's a really fun language arts program that your kids are going to love too. And if you're struggling with teaching language arts, Night Zookeeper can really help because it's very fun and engaging for your kids. It's going to help them improve their language arts skills, but also reading, grammar, punctuation, vocabulary, composition. And of course, you know how much I love helping my kids to become autonomous with their schoolwork. And Night Zookeeper really helps your kids to become more independent with their language arts curriculum, which is nice because it can take some pressure off you, give you some subjects that you don't have to be as hands-on with. But of course, there is a parent dashboard so you can check in, see how things are going, stay on top of things, you know exactly what they're doing, how they're doing, what's going on, but you don't have to be the person like doing all of the teaching. And they get personalized feedback for their writing, which is great because sometimes writing can be very personal for kids and you don't have to be the one like being the bad guy and telling them that they did something wrong or incorrect. And it doesn't feel like this harsh correction. It feels like a gentle reminder of doing something the correct way. I highly recommend trying out Night Zookeeper. There is a link down below in the description box, and that is going to get you a free 7-day trial and 50% off your annual subscription. Number 4 is not being flexible. We must be flexible and nimble. As homeschooling moms, we know better than almost anybody that life happens, kids get sick, things get in the way. And if we don't have a flexible schedule, if we are not able to be nimble with things, then everything gets thrown off kilter and we just feel like failures. So I think being way too rigid with things, way too like regimented with things is a recipe for a disaster, okay? I really think it can ruin your homeschool and your experience of homeschool because you're not getting to experience the freedom that comes with homeschool. Now, obviously in the beginning, sometimes we need that freedom within boundaries, we need a framework. But I will tell you, the more you do this, the more years that go by, the less you need those safety bumpers, the more confident you feel to live in that freedom and to be really nimble with things and to understand that that flexibility is the key and it's such a gift to yourself. If you can figure out how to be more nimble and flexible with your scheduling and how you're doing things, it's going to pay off big time in your ability to do this for the long haul, to sustain homeschooling for more than a year or two. We have to be flexible. The other way that we ruin our own homeschools is by deciding that we are martyrs, not mothers. By believing that the only way to be a good mother, a good homeschool mom, is to be this martyr who just never thinks of herself, always puts herself completely last, never takes care of herself. It's just always, always, always for the kids, the family, the house. The role of a mother is a very self-sacrificing role, okay? No denying that. However, those expressions about not being able to pour from an empty cup and you have to put your own mask on, like there is a truth through that, okay? Sometimes as moms, we find ways to pour from empty cups, okay? It's magic that we do. But sustained over time, not only are you going to feel some resentment? But it's likely that your kids are going to feel that from you too. Even if you think that you are not putting that out there, they don't know, they don't see. We want our children to remember us as happy, joyful, that we loved being mothers, that we loved raising them. If we put ourselves last always, all the time, then everything else starts to feel like a burden because we are just crushed under the weight of it. So we have to recognize where it makes sense to put ourselves last, and where we need to stop, hit pause, regenerate, rejuvenate, because your health and well-being is crucial to your ability to show up daily, to take care of your family, to homeschool your children. You want to be mentally healthy, physically healthy, to show up for our children. I personally never want my children to look back and say, my mom made me feel like I was a burden to her, like she was just always so tired and exhausted from having to take care of me. That's something I never want my kids to feel. And I've got news for you. Most of us are not great actresses where we can let that happen and nobody notices. People feel that. So it's important that you take care of yourself, that you do things to recharge your batteries, that you take breaks when you need them, and that you don't become a martyr to motherhood. I don't know about you, but I want to grow old and be the regal matriarch of my family. I don't want to be the sad, worn out, tired, exhausted martyr. I can't tell you what to do with your life, but what I will tell you is that if you are currently doing any of these 5 things that are maybe ruining your homeschool, your homeschooling experience, sucking the joy out of it, stop. Stop doing them. It's not too late. Stop, turn on your heel, reverse course, and go the other way. Because this homeschooling journey can be one of the biggest blessings in our life. I know for me, it's one of the few areas of life that I just have no regrets about. I'm so glad that we chose this. And it's been hard and it's been trying over the years. And I've learned a lot and I've messed up and I've failed, but I have no regrets about it. So keep plugging along. I believe in you. I know that you've got this. You have exactly what it takes to homeschool your kids.